What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, and we're back to start a special playlist primarily composed by a great friend and longtime hero of the Chample, which is an old school reference. But yes, Kim, who had provided the music for an uneventful weekend playlist, and she's provided a similar playlist this time called We Save Us. More on that in a moment, but it features 13 tunes provided by Kim, as well as 3 tunes provided by Yvonne, and 2 tracks that Michaela contributed. And this is, again, a playlist speaking to the social and cultural and political resolve that we have to have in times where authoritarianism is not only on the rise, but is doing its best to blot out anything that tries to resist it. And the idea of, we can't wait for a savior, we need to be the ones who save ourselves, I am very sympathetic to. And it's a very punk rock sentiment. It is a very DIY punk kind of attitude. And you may not be surprised to learn that I'm quite fond of punk ethos and that type of view about, our role in society, whether or not we are actually, political figures or so on. And again, people who know my channel know I try not to get overtly political in my reactions and my content, but at the end of the day, again, there are certain times which call for a heightened level of awareness, perception, and again, drive and or energy to find what can be a more accepting and positive place rather than just falling in line and goose-stepping along with everything else. And that seems particularly relevant given this first track in the playlist, which I believe was contributed by Yvonne, but Kim said that, she wanted to rectify the playlist and move it to the front. It's a track by Red Rider. I don't feel like I know this group. Maybe this was explained to me at some point, but in the moment, I don't really have context for the group, I'm assuming. But the track is called Lunatic Fringe, and for this playlist, even though Kim, who's a big Tears for Fears fan, she didn't include any Tears for Fears, she attached a quote from Tears for Fears songs to each of the tracks. So in that regard, I'm going to read the quote and give a little bit of context that she provided for this one, which is to say, this track, as I said, is called Lunatic Fringe. I guess it's credited to Tom Cochran, who I suppose is the songwriter of Red Rider. The album is As Far as Slam, I guess. Or no, as far as Slam. As Far as Siam, 1981. And she says it's a song about being vigilant against the ever-present threat of neo-Nazism, the extreme far right. And she says also... Okay, yes, so basically, we need to listen, and unfortunately we haven't listened. So yes, let's kick off this playlist. And the quote from Tears for Fears that she's included here is from No Small Thing, from Orzabal and Smith, and it's "Freedom is no small thing." So yes, here we go. Red Rider, Lunatic Fringe, and it's the first track in the We Save Us playlist, which I'm going to do over the course of the next week and a half. I assume that was just a little glitch in the file. like it a lot, and it's got a blend of sounds. It's got some, rockin' guitar, some epic guitar, but also, sort of like a stadium rock type of keyboard. It's got some great vocals, including that final extension near the end where he really just let it air out. That was great. And it has this, steady, persistent drive to it. Again, referencing the Lunatic Fringe, that, they're not going to win this time, and, making reference, again, to the first half of the 20th century and the way, they did take over and they did cause great suffering, and, not only through, domestic suppression of vulnerable communities and so on, but through a sort of revanchist imperialism. So, again, I feel like all this can be applied to the present, and the idea of targeting already vulnerable communities, not just in places where they're already not welcome, but even in their own backyard, if you will. These are unfortunate realities, again, that have to be addressed, and they have to be resisted, and the song makes reference to resistance, and the idea of, not waiting for that to happen by some, magical intervention, but recognizing that it's, only through struggle and maybe sacrifice and a determination that such authoritarian and exclusionary forces can be met, if you will. So, yeah, I sympathize with the sentiment. I like the sonics, and again, it does have a feel of that, 80s rock to it. So, yeah, a great opener. Once again, big thank you to Kim, thank you to Yvonne, thank you to Michaela, thank you to all the folks who may take an interest in this. And once again, when I do music reactions, in many cases, I'm trying to hear the music and also talk about the concepts, but again, there are times where music is more than just entertainment or sound, but it is a vehicle for ideas, and it is a means of keeping one's sanity, but also finding resolve and maybe translating that into action. So, yes, all good things. Let me know what you think of the tune. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.